Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Ken Shreve here with a breakdown of the action in today's session, where we did see a strong move off of the lows today, Ken. We'll get into that and a couple of stocks that are on your watch list.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a nice earnings report from Weston. LW is the ticker there. We'll also take a look at AMN Healthcare, AMN, and finally a biotech that's showing good technical action, Sarepta Therapeutics, SRPT.
All right, analysis of those charts coming at you soon. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. So the NASDAQ closing down just 0.25% today after a big gap down in the morning. We also had the S&P 500 down 0.2%. The Dow down a little over 0.1%. Small caps the hardest hit today, but off by just 0.5%. So all in all, good to see stocks bucking early weakness after a big 2 days in the prior two sessions.
Yeah, no question. You can see the market is, trying to make a case. It's hit a bottom. It's still early in the rally attempt, and probably going to want to see the market prove itself a little bit more. We've got a very pivotal jobs report on Friday that's likely going to move the market one way or the other. But to see the Nasdaq, which was down 2.4% intraday, just finish with a minuscule loss, and the S&P not down as much intraday, but still down 1.8, 1.9%. Nice close off lows. So, and there's your S&P 500. So, it's a resilient market, and this rally happened. Bond yields came in a little bit, but it was still, the 10-year yield hit a high of 3.79%, and I think it settled out at maybe 3.74, 3.75. So still up sharply, and finding support here at that green line, the 21-day moving average.
Yeah, definitely notable action there as well. And Ken, it seems like the next stop on the upside would be to see the major indexes, at least, looking at the NASDAQ and S&P 500, which we checked in on, get back above the 21-day line, that green line on the chart here. The last time stocks tried to do that, got turned away pretty quickly.
Yeah. So I would say, in light of the strong price action over the past 3 sessions, remember volume was light in the market today, most likely partly due to the Yom Kippur holiday. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Nasdaq move above this 21-day line. Of course, at the 12,000 level, the 50-day moving average.
Right.
We've talked about the fact that the indexes are still challenged because they're have a lot of overhead supply to overcome. But 3 days of gains, it's a good start to a nascent rally attempt, and we'll see where it takes us.
That it is. And you mentioned the jobs report. So it seems like even if we do get a strong day tomorrow on Thursday, ahead of that report, that could be a big unknown for the market, the reaction. So how do we balance adding exposure as we see the market improve ahead of something that could either add more fuel to the fire or upend it?
Well, as our news editor Ed Carson likes to point out, bad news is good news for the Fed. So when we see this jobs report on Friday, honestly, we want to see the unemployment rate start moving higher. We want to see a jobs miss. The Fed really wants to see signs that this labor market, which has been so tight, they just want to see signs that the labor market is softening, just to ease some of this inflation pressures. If the job market can soften, means that they may not have to raise rates as aggressively as the market thinks it has to now. So the market wants to see a soft report. If it gets a blowout number where job growth is north of 300,000, I think is the number, that could fuel more selling, because it's just showing a still strong job market that is
Right.
fueling some of this inflation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to see what Friday brings. Now, Ken, when it comes to stocks that we analyze, we're not about the fluff. We're about the meat and potatoes. And today we're literally about the potatoes here.
That's right.
With Weston, and it gained on its earnings report today some 4.1%, strong volume behind this move, earning it a relative strength line blue dot on the daily chart, underscoring the outperformance it's seen as of late.
Yeah, known mostly known for its frozen potato products, and I think I have tried their waffle fries. I have to admit, but yeah, the earnings report. I mean, it was a huge earnings beat, and they were able to pass along price increases to customers. What was interesting, which I put in the notes, that in their food service segment, which is restaurants and hotels and things like that, the volumes actually fell 12%. So that's not a great sign, but it was a positive response to the earnings because it was a big beat and the revenue was in line. And they also maintained their outlook. And you can see growth is expected to be pretty good in its current year, fiscal 23, and then also fiscal 24. So fundamentals look pretty good here. And looking at the chart, it's a nice technical breakout today. So food stocks are typically defensive. So maybe this is sort of a function of where we're at in this market, that
Right.
food stocks are being bid up in price. But it was a pretty good earnings report, and just a good example of a technical breakout with a stock that has a relative strength line shooting into new high ground. So
Hmm.
pretty strong fundamentally and technically.
Yeah, and when you're analyzing stocks, how do you reconcile short-term relative strength with that longer-term picture here? Does that mean that if you were an investor who did want to get exposure to this part of the market, you would just go for a short-term gain versus try to hold it like this is the best thing since sliced bread and try to get a big move out of it.
Yeah, so I mean, this stock, I mean, because the market still needs to prove itself, and we're still waiting for a confirmed uptrend and
Hmm.
signs that fresh institutional money is coming in from the sidelines. And when that starts happening, that's when you tend to see some of your growth stocks really start to outperform, and some of these defensive stocks might be left in the dust.
Hmm.
So in a case like this, for those that bought the stock today, I would certainly not be afraid at all, generally speaking, to take a 10% profit if you were to get it from this breakout, and just be open to the fact that if we do really go into a nice tradable rally here, and the market makes a strong case for a bottom, you should see a lot of other stocks with a
Hmm.
much better track record of outperformance start to lead the market, and that's where you can make the good money.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, let's check in on SRPT, Sarepta Therapeutics. Some really nice tight action, especially on this weekly chart. You can see it coiling up here. Looks like it's primed to break one way. Don't know which way, but I really like the nice coiling action here that we're seeing, Ken.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way of describing it. You can see it was a really solid breakout from this lengthy consolidation. It was back in late July, early August, I think it was. But there was good volume at the breakout, and this is again, we use charts just to assess supply and demand in a stock, and there was good volume at the breakout, and then this pullback and sideways movement to the 10-week moving average just looks very strong. It's holding support where it should, and this is a company that already has three approved drugs, so they are generating meaningful revenue. They're still losing money because they're
Right.
they're spending money to make money, but they've got a good pipeline, and their main disease that they're dealing with is Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So they've got a variety of different approved therapies, gene therapies that are selling well. And again, good technical picture here. Just really waiting for a nice conviction bounce, and maybe the stock can make a run at the 120 level.
All right. Well, let's set an alert. Who knows? Maybe it'll go off on IBD Live in real time one of
That's
these
right.
mornings. We'll have to see. It's always fun when that happens. All right. Let's also take a look at AMN Health Services. Down today, but off lows, down by about 3%. But for the week, it's still up pretty strongly, Ken, over 5%. It also has an RS line blue dot on this weekly chart.
Yeah, again, I think the fundamentals measure up here. We did talk about this one a little bit on IBD Live this morning, but I just like the way this base is taking shape. By the end of this week, so by tomorrow's close, I would like to see at least a weekly close in the middle half, or even in the upper half. So we'll see what the market does
Hmm.
on Thursday and Friday. But it's just a good example of what a good cup base looks like. And even though when it started to consolidate right in that area there. Yeah, and it broke through the 10-week moving average. You had several weeks in a row where there was tight trading, tight weekly closes at the bottom of the base here. And I remember Bill used to talk about that as just an element of strength in a chart. So you got some tight closes at the bottom of the base, and it's now starting to work its way higher. So good one for the watch list. Good fundamentals. Really nice return on equity. So you can tell it's got a good management team. So I think this one could work. We'll just see where this nascent market rally takes us.
And in the prior base, it looks like we did see a lot of resistance around the 110 area. And that also coincides with that recent retake of the 10-week line. So we'll have to see if it can stay above that level. We did also get some news from or about group peer CCRN today, a bit of a downgrade. But do you think AMN weathered the storm today pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, I was encouraged to see it close off lows, and we could pull up CCRN real quick, which actually is the leader in the group because it broke out, had a nice move on Monday and Tuesday, and you can see that actually closed a little bit higher in the range than AMN did today. So overall, despite a downgrade to hold, I believe, from Truist, you can see this stock is still resilient. It paired, it still fell a lot, but it closed all the way up near its session high. So it did show some strength, even though the percentage decline was a little daunting.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your analysis today, Ken. And thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live. So we hope you join us, investors.com/IBD Live for all the details. And it's the first week of a new month and the first week of Q4, if you can believe it. But on Thursday, tomorrow, after the close, we will be going over our monthly performance for Swing Trader. So we hope you join us for that. If you are a subscriber or trialist, swingtrader.investors.com for the details. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow.